sex was brought up to be like this big, huge thing. And once I did it, like, it wasn't like a big, huge thing. It was really like just sex. I'm sure that sex is probably better with someone you love. And I do want to experience that one day because I am kind of like in a situationship.
As we all have been.
But I do believe that like sex is probably better with love. But I do feel as if like my religious background just really we could probably do a whole episode on how religious trauma affected, this stage of my life.
Okay, but like I have to ask you, like, even if you felt like all of your ducks had to be lined up in a row perfectly and you had to be perfect, like you, in order to commit yourself or in order to have that intimate experience with someone, like you would have required the other party to have all of their ducks in a row, and that's impossible. So it's like a double whammy.
You know what? But though, really, I wouldn't have, like, these impossible standards I only hold to myself, and I give everybody else like all the leeway, all the benefit of the doubt. It's only myself where I'm like, dude, you are failing.
Okay, so 35 years. You're just like, okay, I got to line this up. I got to figure this out. I got to do this. And then I'm going to have a partner.
Yeah.
Somebody.
I mean, it's literally been 35 years in the making. And then, through therapy, I realized it's never going to be perfect. There's always going to be something else. And then, of course, like now my ducks are lined up in a row and I'm not, they don't make me happy. The things that I've been trying to line up that I thought would bring me happiness did not bring me happiness. So it's kind of like, I didn't tell you this, Nikita, but my adult things that now I know I did it because everyone around me was doing it, which is dangerous because I'm following others' paths and not my path. But I was approved for a home loan and I don't even think I want a house. But I was doing it because, everyone around me was doing it. And I'm like, okay, it's time for me to do it now, but that's not even what I want. So yeah, I feel as if, I just held myself to impossible standards. I didn't believe I was ready for love or that someone would accept me without me having the perfect body, no cellulite, just like tone, perfect body, good credit, a car, like all these things that I could say, hey, I'm a cat. Look at me. I'm a complete cat. But I can say now, like with all of my ducks in a row, like those things that I was chasing, like I'm like, okay, like they don't make me happy.
Yeah.
I am happy, but they did not make me happy.
Right.
Like the credit score, just a number. If there are other, you can get a house with a bad credit score. You can get a car with a bad credit score. You can get nice things with a bad credit score. But that credit score had a grip on me for so long. And now that, it's good, I'm like, just numbers, because I'm at the point now in my mind, I'm like, I don't have to have $1 million to live in a mansion. Like, I don't have to have $1 million to be wealthy. Like, it all comes from in here.
Mm-hmm.
And if we realize that all of these things are already ours, you can get a mansion. Someone can leave you a mansion, and it might sound crazy and improbable, but when you allow your mind to say, you know what, I don't have to have a credit score. It's just numbers. It's made up. I don't need a bunch of money. Money isn't real. It's made up. We put faith and belief in a dollar and we make it real. But when you allow yourself to think outside of that, bigger than that, like all the things you want can come to you in ways that people say it was impossible. So I don't know. That's where I am now.
I love that.
And I'm on that journey.
I love that. And like you said, there is an episode that we can have by itself on like this topic because oh my God, like that resonated with me so much. And I can tell you like a million stories
Mhm.
on how I felt like I wasn't perfect enough or good enough. And then, people around me either for me to, date them or give them a chance. And it's
Yeah.
ironic because everybody that I ended up with and that I did give a chance was a fucking scrub. So, but what does your spirituality or your spiritual journey, what does it look like now?
You know what? Now I'm really trying to, it's a journey. I promise you, every week is a journey. Every week I'm learning. I'm learning to want what I have because I think that we can want something. We can want a mansion. You can want a BMW. You can want a husband. But at the same time, I have to say, I'm grateful for what I have. I think a lot of unhappiness comes from not wanting what we have. Like it's a thin line. You have to happiness and wanting what you have, but you can also have more. And I think it's like you have to really balance that. So I'm learning to want what I have. I'm learning that I'm gonna be okay regardless. So I don't gotta stress. I don't when I hit rock bottom, my soft rock bottom, I was like, you know what, F it. I'm gonna be okay. Like that happened. I'm still alive. I'm still
You have
employed. The
to
world
tell me
didn't
about
end.
this soft rock bottom. Like, we
I
have to have a conversation
knew
about
about it,
this.
but I'm just learning that it's all from in here. If you don't want to be sad, it's so stupid. If you don't want to be sad, then be happy. If you don't want to be stressed, then don't let it bother you. And that's what I'm learning. Like I'm learning that stressing over anything is not going to make it go right or wrong. Me replaying it isn't going to help it. So I might as well just let it be. And when it gets here, deal with it. I'm learning that the only thing I can truly control is how I choose to respond, in here mentally and emotionally. And my highest self, it rolls off of us all the time. My lowest self, I want to like indulge in a pity party. And sometimes we need a pity party. But, then I get back to my highest self and I keep it moving. And right now, I'm like, F everything around me, like F all of it. Like I'm gonna be okay. I know I'm gonna be okay. Like if I lose my job, I'm gonna be okay. If I lose my car, I'm gonna be okay. Like I'm gonna be okay. I read a really great article, and the article was once you allow yourself to stop wondering how you're gonna make ends meet and just let the universe provide for you.
Yep.
Because I remember I used to always say back in the day, like, I don't know how I survived to my next paycheck, but I did. Like that was the universe. And it can be on greater scales than that. Oh, I don't know how I got from point A to point B. I don't have to understand it. But the universe understand it. So at this point, only thing we have to know is our end destination. Just see it in our mind, and everything else in between. That's the universe. I don't have to figure it out, but that's my journey currently. That's where I'm at currently.
There you go. I love that, and I agree with everything that you just said. And then the final question is like, what advice would you give to your younger self today?
Oof. Oh my God, so much advice, Nikita. So much advice. One, I would say not to take religion so seriously. That's what I would say respect it, because I would say approach the Bible as like a guide to live in your life versus fact, versus this actually happened. I would say respect the Bible, respect the people who are in the Bible, but take it as a guide and lessons and stories on how to live your life and not so much as fact.
Mm.
So, and I think that
Yeah, I
advice
agree with that.
alone
I agree with that.
would change the course of my life drastically. Like just that advice by itself. I would also say, don't drop out of college when you're 19. Stay in there. Stay in there and finish it because you're just going to be back. You're going to go back. So just stay in there and get it over with.
Well, I love that. Jabri, did you have any follow-up questions or any other questions for Crystal?
So in regards to, your family setting, you said that, you grew up in a large family. How did your other siblings adapt, in this strict religious kind of?
They did very well, surprisingly. And that's, and I guess because so I'm out of church completely. Like I very rarely go to any church. My siblings still go to church. Two of my siblings are still in the church. My mother is in the church. One of my sisters visits occasionally. Another one of my sister, she's at her husband's church, but she visits occasionally. They did perfectly fine. They were able to, and I say this very lovingly, I tease them about it. They were able to like sit on Saturday and go to church and shout on Sunday. And like I was never able to do that because different person, and we're all very different people, me and my siblings. But whereas I took it as like it weighed me down, it didn't have the same weight on them that it had on me.
Okay. Well, that's all that I wanted to know.
Yeah, I think because I don't know, like we're all different people, and as a kid, it was fact, and I'm like, you know what? If it's real, I really want to pursue it. But yeah, they were out doing other things. I was the only one trying to decode the Bible.
Well, hey, I'm pretty sure that it wasn't in vain. I'm pretty sure that all of your experiences will tie to the greater lesson and that, it'll be useful, even though it probably wasn't as useful as it could have been growing up. It'll come in handy later. So, just many blessings and, best and greatest wishes to you and your future endeavors. We'll definitely have to catch up. Like I said, I want to hear more about the soft rock bottom. I'm sure it's a story, but I appreciate you coming on and like just sharing your experiences. Anything that you want to, like any last words or anything that you want to say before we close?
Christianity is still a beautiful religion. If you're doing it right, if you're following the teachings for yourself and knowing it for yourself, it's still very beautiful. It's not all toxic. All religion isn't toxic, but I do think it's very important that to listen to our own intuition, our own heart, our own soul when something comes across from our leaders that we don't agree with. You need to search and know and pray for yourself instead of having someone always tell you. You need to know for yourself. Like I said, there's two sides to every person. You have your highest self and you have your lowest self. And we just have to every day try to live in our highest self. But it's okay to give into your lowest self some days. Some days you're gonna act a fool in traffic.
Yeah.
Some days you're gonna, you are flesh as well as spirit, and don't be too hard on yourself.
I love that. Thanks, Crystal, for joining us. Jabri, did you want to say any last words, or if not, you can take us out.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you guys for joining us. I think, I don't know. What do we want to talk about next week? What's our topic? Do we already discuss
have
it?
choices. Yeah, we have choices. So, we didn't really discuss which direction we were headed. So we'll discuss that and get back to y'all later.
Okay. Well, definitely thank you, Miss Crystal, for joining us and sharing your story. It was very, very thought provoking. And to our people that are listening, have a, good night, good morning, good day, and be kind to yourself and others. Thanks.